Aloha and happy today. I'm here to talk about advisory boards. So, everybody knows they need a board of directors when they start a company. Well, most everybody. It helps keep things in balance. And of course, it's legally necessary. But advisory boards have done more for me than any board of directors ever could. And here's why. So, I learned something interesting from a woman who grant writes a few years ago. And she said, I work with a lot of nonprofits, but the main problem I see is that their advisory board is very mixed. They have a lot of requirements of them, but they're all very different. If they would separate those people into, say, a working advisory board versus a fundraising advisory board, or whatever categories make sense for them, it would allow the people that have similar goals to be working together on a constant basis. And then you build groups of people working toward the same end with the same steps in the process. Maybe each one of them has a different specialty that they can help in one of the steps along the way. So when thinking about building your advisory boards, you don't want to just pick a big name. I mean, if you need some kind of clout, maybe you'll put a university professor on there or something if you're in the educational field, or you want to pick things that make sense for what you're doing, but at the same time, not just people that have good names, but people that will do things. So fundraising as a nonprofit is huge, and it's extremely important to make sure that you have people on board that are as interested in fundraising for your cause as you are. It's not an easy thing to find, but whenever you do find it, you engage those people and make sure that they stay involved. Now, for the other end of another advisory board, say you have an older group of people who wants to advise on the business processes of what you're doing, but doesn't necessarily want to go out there and pound the pavement, collect dollars, try to make events happen and things like that. Maybe they're just of a different group and they've been very successful in their companies, and you want to make sure to have them on board and you appreciate their input, and you don't have any funding to hire them, which is usually, unfortunately, the very beginning of why people build advisory boards, because you don't have the money to hire the employees that you really need to help do these things. But as a nonprofit, we make ends meet, and if people get involved for the right reasons, they end up being a lot more successful than if they were motivated by money anyhow. So a great advisory board, again, contains people that are working toward the same end, have complementary sets of skills that will get them to that goal, and they're very specialized. So you want to have an advisory board for this, that, and the other thing. Not just put them all in one room. Everybody will get very confused, and it makes it difficult. You're trying to talk about the financial plan for the next 2 years in the same room as the people that are organizing an event, and they're like, I don't want to listen to any of this. So just keep in mind what people are there to do. Survey them. Ask them whenever they get involved. Say, how do you think you can help us? Would it be in marketing and getting other people involved? Would it be in helping us fundraise for this amazing cause that we have? Would it be in just giving advice on how to grow our programs and reach more students, or go to more schools, or even if you're in the for-profit field, all of these things still apply. Just kind of take the nonprofit jargon out of it. It's really the same ballgame. Everybody has to bring in money and put out money. If you're a for-profit, you bring in money and you put out to the same people. So your group of customers are the ones that you're producing something for, and they're the ones that are going to be paying for it. So you have your customer and you, and it goes back and forth. But if you're a nonprofit, your money has to come from place A to get to you. And those aren't your customers, because your customers are over here in Group C. You're serving Group C, the money's coming from Group A and your Group B. So that's really the only difference between a non-for-profit. The money has to be spent on this group and come from this group, versus being spent on products to create for this group to buy them. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. If you have any questions, contact me anytime. Please subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day.